First wave punk is mostly known for its chaotic energy, anger and cynicism, but what gets glossed over is that these bands also had unexpectedly diverse influences, charismatic personas and often a wicked sense of humour. That side would often come out when they took a break from their own songs and started fooling around with covers. These are my top 5 first wave punk covers. The Ramones are probably the most influential punk band of all time, but what I love most about them is how their own influences shine through their relentless wall of noise in unexpected ways. You can often hear elements of surf, girl groups and early rock and roll in their songs, so it's not a big surprise they chose this early 60s pop song to cover on their first album. Their primitive rock and roll take strips it back to the essentials, dials up the noise and lays out their whole musical mission statement in a nutshell. To be honest, I mainly know the theme from Rawhide from that scene in the Blues Brothers where they played in Bob's Country Bunker, but I still always get a kick out of this version. The frantic energy the Dead Kennedys pump out makes it so much fun, and the musicianship is pretty wild. D.H. Peligro's drums are always impressive, and somehow those surfy washes of acid guitar noise fit with his hectic sped-up country shuffle beat. Jello really leads into the vocals too, and even though it's pretty absurd, it's so hyper that you can't help but get into it. The story goes that Blondie played the Nerves' original version of this song in a cab in Japan and were impressed by how it translated across the language barrier with the driver who loved it. Their version plays it pretty straight, one of the few punk covers that you could say might even be smoother and more polished than the original version, which is already pretty raw and energetic. The band are great, but it's really Debbie Harry's charismatic vocals that make it so good. Like all the best punk musos, she's not virtuosic, but she has an undeniable energy that's unique and engaging. The Sex Pistols burned through a bunch of covers on the Rock and Roll Swindle soundtrack, and most of them are overshadowed by Sid's version of My Way. But for my money, it has nowhere near as much replay value as their version of Stepping Stone. Partly it's just how well Johnny Rotten's snarly vocals work with the lyrics. His vitriolic delivery takes it somewhere you wouldn't expect from a pop song, gives it emotional depth. Musically, the band hits the same tone, adding some broody grit and really making the song their own. The Clash are another band that did a lot of great covers. They often delved into the diverse music tastes with reggae and Americana and even an arrangement of a folk tune to make English Civil War. The one I first fell in love with though was their cover of I Fought the Law. It's so raw and energetic and it fits perfectly into the outlaw and outcast themes at the heart of their best material. By the time I heard this in the 90s, it was already older than the original had been in the Clash's day, but it didn't feel dated to me at all. It really stood the test of time as a great rendition by a great band.